Hello everyone, and welcome back to the University of Rochester. I hope that you all had a great summer. And if it's your first time at the university, welcome. I'm Garrett Briggs, the 2021 Fall Election Coordinator, and in this video I'm going to walk you through some of the basics of what to expect and some of the rules that are involved with this election cycle. This video is going to discuss a few things, and they're all listed in front of you, but very basically, they're going to discuss the positions that are open, as well as the differences between them, what you must do before becoming a candidate, the campaigning period and what to expect with that, election violations, how they're reported, and how the Election Violations Committee will address them, and finally, voting, how students at the university and your friends and colleagues can cast their vote to decide who they want to represent them on campus. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, let's talk about who is allowed to run. Typically, in past fall elections, only the incoming class has been allowed to run for positions. However, this year, because of a special election, both the class of 2022 and the class of 2025 will be allowed to run for different positions. Specifically, we are holding special election because there is currently no representation by the class of 2022 in the Senate, despite elections in the spring last year. As a result, we want to allow for senators to have voices from the class of 2022, and so we are holding elections for them again. This election cycle, there will be different positions open depending on your class year. If you're a member of the class of 2025, you will be eligible to run for one of the 4 open Senate positions, or one of the 8 class council positions, or for both the Senate and class council. If you are a member of the class of 2022, you will only be allowed to run for one of the 2 vacant Senate positions. There are no open class council positions. And if you are a member of the class of 2023 or the class of 2024, there are no open positions that you will be eligible for this election cycle. Now, let's talk about the differences between Senate and class council. The Senate is involved in creating legislation that positively impacts the lives of students. A big example of that this year is going to be through discussions on COVID-19 rules and regulations. Through committees and on-the-floor hearings, they will be able to spearhead initiatives for students in order to safely transition them to a world less lenient on COVID rules and restrictions if they so choose to. This would be done through legislation. However, the Senate is not involved of programming for any of these classes. That is all up to the class council. The class council is in charge of this programming, however, they are not able to write or pass legislation. Instead, they do things like organize events such as tag or soccer or food trucks or merchandise giveaways. That is their sole purpose. Once again, they are not involved in any of the writing or passing of legislation. Now that we've gone over the differences for each position, let's talk about how to sign up. In order to become an official candidate, you will need to do 2 things. The first is an election rules quiz, which gauges your knowledge on things like voting and campaigning, and goes over some of the restrictions for each. The deadline for that will be on August 31st at noon, and the link should be live on the website by the time that this video comes up. The candidacy form is the second thing you will need to fill out, and that will ask you to express your platform, being the ideas that you have for the student body and the positions that you are running for, and it'll also ask you to submit a picture of yourself. It will have the same deadline as the election rules quiz. If you submit either of these late, you may not be allowed to run as a candidate. Once you submit both of these things, I will place your campaign file on the website, and that will go live on September 1st. Even after you submit your campaign profile, you will still not be allowed to campaign just yet. You will have to wait till the campaign period starts. This is the period of time that you are able to advertise your candidacy to the voters, and this can be done through online or in-person advertising. This year, the period will start on September 2nd at 10 a.m. and it will end on September 10th at 10 p.m. when voting closes. This is extremely important. If you campaign before September 2nd at 10 a.m., you will receive penalty points, and that will put you at a disadvantage when campaigning for your position compared to other candidates. There are two types of campaigning. The first is in-person campaigning, and some examples of this are putting flyers in the university buildings, making advertisements on the sidewalks with chalk, or talking to people face-to-face about your campaign and why you are running. The second kind is online campaigning, which is the use of online flyers or posters, the use of online direct messaging, or making websites in order to better express your ideas. As with any good bureaucratic system, there are rules and limitations that you must abide by when campaigning. For in-person, you are not allowed to knock on doors or place unrequested flyers on doors of university students. Like you would want your privacy to be respected, we would like theirs to be respected as well. You are also not allowed to deface the flyers of other candidates. This includes not only removing or tearing or ruining their flyers, but placing your own personal flyer over the flyers of other candidates. Finally, you are never allowed to have any discriminatory messaging. This goes obviously not only for campaigning, but at the university in general. No attacks or slander or anything against anyone that you are running against. Now for online, you cannot campaign to the class group pages. In addition, you can only DM people that follow you back. For instance, if I follow someone and they follow me back, I am allowed to DM them about my campaign. However, if I follow them and they do not follow me back, if I DM'd them about my campaign, that would be against the rules, and I could receive penalty points that could disqualify me from the election cycle or put me at a disadvantage when campaigning. In addition to those things, there are other things that are not allowed. For this campaign cycle, no candidate will be allowed to spend more than $40 total on campaigning. Please hold on to your receipts if you buy things that you put towards your campaign, because I may ask for them. In addition, you cannot publicize or announce your candidacy before the campaign period starts, so no sort of campaigning before the start of the campaign period. In addition, please make sure that your assistants to the campaign know the rules, because any actions that they do that are against the rules will reflect on you through penalty points. For example, if I have a campaign assistant and they advertise on the class group page about my campaign, I will receive campaign penalty points that could put me at a disadvantage or disqualify me from the election cycle. So please, please, please make sure that your helpers are aware of the rules and are following them, or else you will be the one that is held accountable. Now that we've gone over all the things that a candidate is not allowed to do, let's discuss how to report a candidate if they are breaking some of those rules. To report them, you need to fill out the election violation form. There will be a link to this on the SA Elections website. On that form, it will ask you who the candidate is and what their violation is, and then you will submit it. After you submit it, the Election Violation Committee will see that complaint and look at it, and if it has been decided that the candidate did do something wrong, they will be notified and assigned election penalty points. Please consult the website for a full list of what is and is not allowed during campaigning. Now, let's talk about voting. Voting will start on September 9th at 10 a.m. and run through September 10th at 10 p.m. The voting will happen through a link that is emailed to all eligible voting students, and that will lead them to the ballot. In addition, there will be voting stations at designated places in the Wilson Commons building throughout the 2 days. So, who is allowed to vote? For this election cycle, the class of 2025 can vote only for the class of 2025 positions, and the class of 2022 can vote only for the class of 2022 positions. No one else will be allowed to vote. If you have any questions about the stuff that we've touched on this video, or anything else related to the fall 2021 election, please shoot me an email at sa_elections@u.rochester.edu, and I will absolutely respond as soon as I possibly can. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to answer the questions that you may have. Finally, I want to wish you good luck and happy campaigning. But remember, if for some reason you don't get elected, there are still going to be many open positions that you can involve yourself in through SA government once the election cycle is over. Please do not hesitate to apply for one of those positions, and I am sure that you will enjoy it. So good luck, and I hope to see great things from you on campus this year.